good morning, and good afternoon. Let me maximize this screen here. And I'm just going to do some podcast recording. So I'm obviously a little late. Today is October 1st, 2022. Audio sounding good? Okay. So I figured while I do that, I might as well hit the live and see what's going on. Hope everyone's doing good. So this is for today's podcast that I am editing. It's pretty much done, but we're just going to go through the editing process here. So Dan and I recorded 2 shows in one day and broke that up into the September 1st podcast and the October 1st podcast today. So what I'm going to do is I already kind of have it timestamped to where I need to break this up a little bit. Should be about 25:47. So I'm just going to write that down here. If I can find some paper. So at about 25:47 in the raw audio is where I need to adjust. So 25:47. So this is kind of just walking people through the editing process. If you've never edited videos, things like that, who knows, you may get something out of this. But the program that I'm using here is called Cyberlink. So this is a great program. Love it. Did the one-time fee. Not cheap, but definitely worth it. So if you're looking for some good video editing software, check out cyberlink.com. The Power Director. Power Director is the one you're looking for. That's what we're using here today. So one of the first things that we want to do is look at the intro from last month's podcast, which I like, but obviously a couple things need to be changed. We'll keep that. Gray Shame. Kind of like that there, like the piano. Definitely like all this. But anywhere that it says podcast 32, we're just going to change that to 33. Can you believe we're almost at 3 years in this podcast? Just about 8 years in the research. Okay, so that's where we need to make our first edit right there. So everything is in tracks. If you look to the left, track 1, track 2, track 3. So what we're looking for is where this is in track 6. You can always add new tracks too if you need to. So just gonna change this from 32. You could change it up here if you want to, or you can change it directly inside of this area too. And then lots of different things that you can do as you scroll down, changing the fonts, the font style. You can add a shadow to it, which is really cool. If you do add a shadow, good to fill that shadow, unless you have a background. Fill that shadow, and that will just make sure everything looks a little bit better. The effects here that they have, you have a starting effect and then an ending effect. So the starting effect is really nice, and you can kind of see, okay, what is it going to do? This is going to amplify vertical. I'm just going to leave it the way it is for whatever I have set up. But you do have those options for a starting effect and an ending effect. A lot of this other stuff I just have not had time to really mess with. So what I could do is save this here, but if I do a save as, it's going to save it and override whatever else I had. So I'm just going to leave that for now. I just need that to say podcast 33. So the beginnings will be about the same, I guess. Okay. Sent to proven guilty. And then I guess that's about it. Then we're ready to just edit. So intro is a little long though. It's like what, Be about a minute and a half, so I may shorten that down. It's okay for now. Okay, then this will take us right into the podcast right about here, right? Whoa. Oh, that really backs it all up, huh? Okay, so I don't know if I want it to end that.
Welcome to another episode of...
Okay, so that's where we're going to take that part out here, and always save your changes. That way, in case something happens, you can always go back and just fix that. Alright, so what we're looking for now is we're going to take this out. This part is done. Remove and leave gap, that way it doesn't mess everything up. If you remove and fill, and if you mess up, you can always just hit the read or the undo and go right back to it. So now I'm going to pull up the original recording that I had here, and we'll just kind of walk through this. Hey Sophia, how are you? Just running through this podcast, doing some live recording, editing, so today is my deadline. Hope things are good there in your native land, Sophia. There's a link there too if you want to join. I'm just working on some technical editing here for the podcast. See where I want it to start. Okay, so it should start right about here, let's say. So I'm going to take the old recording, the original podcast recording here. I'm doing pretty good, Sophia, thanks. I'm pretty just pretty burnt out, but you know, making the best of things, and I'll finally have some time to work on this podcast, and I am supposed to have out today. So depending on where you are, what your time zone, what country, I have not missed the deadline yet. So I'm just running through, just gonna, so I know. Okay, now I'm gonna get back here. Oops. Take that. So I know that I need to get to this at about the 25. So what I want to do is pull this all the way over. You see on the lower left side, I can minimize and I can maximize, because I wrote my timestamp down at about, it's about 25:47. So I'm just gonna
and make it big. But you're right. When the police asks, he's nothing more than an actor. He didn't say partner. He didn't say co-founder, business partner, things like that.
I'm just a patsy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we're going to start the episode. So I'm going to go up here on the left-hand side and split this selected clip. Take this clip out, delete that first part, but leave the gap, because I kind of know about where I want to go back to, right? So it's probably right around here. Okay, now I can minimize that for a second.
That first trailer.
Definitely need to adjust that. Push this back to about maybe here. Let's see. Yeah. Well, the audio, the thing is the audio drops.
Now we get into 2012. On the bottom of page 1.
So maybe we end it right
49. It starts
in the audio right there. Clip that. Goodbye audio. Leave the gap. And then on this, what we need to do is get really, really close to the end.
on the bottom of
where
page
we want to drop down.
2012 on the bottom. Now we get into 2012 on the.
So I'm going to start fading out right around here. On the left hand side, this is where you can switch from the media room, all your videos and photos, and audio too. And there's an effects, there's video overlay, particles, titles, where you can add the text. That's how we add the transition is pretty cool to transition from one clip to another clip. And then we're going to go into the audio mixing room, because what I want to do is I need to make sure I do it the right one. I'm pretty sure. Yep, that's it. So this kind of fades out here to fade out on the track 5. You can see audio 5 lined up with track number 5 down here. So you can see when the audio drops,
bottom of page 149.
I want to test that out. And it drops a little abruptly. So what I'm going to do is kind of have it drop a little less abruptly.
2012 on the bottom of page. Now we get into 2012 on the bottom of page 149. It starts in 2012. David graduated with.
Okay, I like that. Not the smoothest transition, but it'll work. So again, we're just doing some live editing, folks. Thank you everyone for being here in the chat. This is for podcast episode number 33, and it will be out today for audio. The video will probably not be out until later on. So you're getting a little bit of the editing process here, just because I need to do this and have a quiet house right now. So figured I would turn on the live and just go live. So I'm here if anyone has any thoughts, any questions, and if anyone wants to join, the stream link is right up there at the top. Feel free to come on in. May only be here for another 30-40 minutes or so, depending on how far I get here. But really, I just need to time out the beginning of episode 33 and then the end of episode 33. Another thing I'm going to do here, as we're talking about tracks, and again, we're using the product called Cyberlink. Cyberlink Power Director. If you're ever thinking about video editing, and you have money to spend, I think it's like $100 and something or something, maybe a little bit less. This program is definitely worth it. Definitely worth getting, and you can do just about anything and everything on here. I've had this program for years, and I have not even scratched the surface on what it can do. It does pretty much everything that I need, just simple editing. All right, continuing on. Sophia, let me know if my audio is coming in okay. If you're still in the chat, my main microphone broke, so I'm using this cheap headset that is just not ideal. But I don't know how good it's working or how terrible it is. But another thing that I want to show you here is when you have the track at the beginning of the track, and as long as the track is in blue, you can see this track number 1 is in blue. Oh, thanks, Sophia. I appreciate that. What we can do is go to Designer, go to PIP Designer, and this is how you can make it fade in. So I can do a fade out. I'm not going to do the fade out because I'm not finished editing at least the end, but I am going to do a fade in. So when I click on Enable Fade In, and then just click OK after that. Now what will happen is when it transitions into Dan from the text, now it'll fade in.
Now we get into 2012.
Just that nice little fade. You can adjust the fade too. If you want a really long fade, I can adjust that fade however I want to. Another thing I may want to think about, I think is okay, is bringing the audio in. So I think that's all right. I'm just going to leave it right there. Again, click on we're going back to the audio mixing room and see where it has this little fade in here. So for each track, it has these where you can fade in and fade out, so the audio doesn't just boom, clip in, clip out. So I'm just going to click on this, and now you can see down here it just fades in and fades out. So that's it. So now it's just a little smoother. Maybe not a big deal.
Now we get into 2012 on the bottom of page 140.
So this is the actual audio here, and just to make sure things aren't clipping. If it's low, you can always bring it up, but bring it up first before you do this fade in, or else it makes it just a little more difficult to do that.
It starts.
But now we
In
have the
2012, David
audio that I
graduated
want.
with a Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Okay, and then see in the upper left corner what I did. You may not be able to see it because the duck is there, but in the video version, what will happen is that duck will be there. So I have to fade that duck in too. So we're going to go here, go to PIP. Let's fade that duck in. So, and it sucks you probably won't be able to see this because of where everything is, but
Now we get into 2012 on the bottom of page 140.
so you see in the upper left corner up here, this is the screen people will see up here, and that is the that's where that duck is. So that's how I hide that duck in the final video version.
49.
Everything else looks pretty good
in 2012,
here.
David graduated.
Always save your changes. Go back in here. All right. So this is episode 33 here.
In digital,
beginning.
Video, and media productions.
There was a little feed. You can kind of hear the echo. In the podcast version, you probably won't hear that because I will put in some background music. Very low, very low. Still working on adjusting the background. I know some people are still having issues with some of the background, with some of the music that I use when I have audio, people talking over that music. So I'm trying to work on that, trying to get better at that. I'm just going to play this here for a few minutes. Well, not a few minutes, but a minute.
Production. After 2 years in the making, the Gray State movie trailer was released to the public on August 7th, 2012. A month after its release, David Crowley was interviewed by the Freedom Fiends talk radio show. The interview, conducted by Michael W. Dean, came out on September 15th, 2012. And see, we're coming up here on the the 10-year anniversary of that first trailer being released.
Wow, you're right. I forgot about that.
That was September. The interview was September 15th, 2012, and here we are at the end of August. The Gray State movie trailer cost David Crowley and Mitch Heil $6,000 to make.
They did an excellent job for $6,000. Even if you adjust for inflation, it's still pretty good. Still pretty fascinating.
It was a phenomenal trailer, yes.
Yeah.
Starting on page 150, it continues, "That's just out of pocket through our production company," David explains to Michael Dean. Quote, "That's just money spent harnessing the actors to our set and getting the props that we needed. But we spent another year in post-production doing 17-hour days. So how do you put a price tag on that, really?" The story of Gray State continually evolved. It's gotten deeper, David said of the Gray State story. It's gotten very much darker. So people, when they see this, the response is, I knew they would be very, very divided. First of all, they're very supportive, like, wow, like this is a future scenario that we can face, that we are facing right now unless we wake up. Then what they want to do is they want to assign the responsibility for activism to my project and assume that that's what I'm going to do. That's what I want to do, is wake people up with Gray State, when in fact I can't make any such moral distinction because I'm a filmmaker, I'm an artist. What I'm going to do is explore human truths, and I can do so through pretty messed up context like the Gray State world. But how real or not real is completely irrelevant. So once again, the philosophical side of things is what David is saying. I can do this, I can put this product out there. I can't tell you what to do and how to behave and how to think and how to react, but I can provide it out there. You can draw your own conclusions. I'm just the filmmaker.
That's right. And that was the big thing where he says, I am a filmmaker. Eric Nelson could learn a lot from what David Crowley is saying here. This is what you do. This is how you make a good movie. Eric Nelson had a great chance with A Gray State, the hit piece on David Crowley. He had a great chance to make a good movie, show all sides, and let the people come to their own conclusion. It sounds like with the Gray State trailer, that's exactly what David's purpose was.
Yep.
All right, so that part looks good. looks pretty much done. I'm not, definitely don't want to play the whole thing here. Play a little more than I wanted to, but just because we gotta check that audio. Audio sounds okay. A couple little peaks here. You can see the yellow, but nothing in red. There's a little peak here. Let's
Included
check this
and
peak here.
plow through a bunch of things.
Here.
Right. And then Eric Nelson's film makes it seem like that's what kind of did him in. He was so obsessed, and the police even talk about that. He was so obsessed with this. When you go into this dark place, that these are things that are going to happen. But this is normal for anyone who writes, who wants to
Pops. Oh, okay. Oh, the cough. Okay. Don't know if we can.
really do good. You know, I did that too but this is normal for anyone
May edit right there. See if we
who
take that.
who writes, who wants to really do good. You know, I did that too when I was writing this. This is normal for anyone who
Yes, this is normal for anyone. I don't know if we'll take that cough out, but we can definitely try and just see what it would sound like without it.
who writes, who wants to really do good.
So let's see what this would be like. Let's see where I move this red cursor, and then that's where I can clip it. So if I do need to take anything out, I can. So split the selected clip right here. Boom. Let's see what that sounds. We can always add it back in if it doesn't make sense here. I still am going to leave the gap and fill it myself. Let's see what that sounds like.
This is normal for anyone. You know, I did that too when I was writing this book.
I think, yeah, I think I'll probably leave it just like that. Just like that.
I tried to seclude myself as much as possible.
Okay. So again, the goal just here today is just to get it onto the podcast version. The video version will take some time. You can see I just put up the video version of episode 32 4 days ago. So that one's still new. So hopefully, I don't know when I'll get to this one here, but you can see these podcasts are shorter. We have bumped them down to 30 minutes for the time being. This one goes a little bit longer, so it goes about 36 or so. And on the podcast version, I will do some type of a intro and an outro probably for it. So again, if you are not subscribed to the podcast, the Gray Stage podcast, you'll find it on Apple Podcasts, on Audible, pretty much on iTunes podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, you'll definitely find it on Spotify. So if you want to just listen to the audio, if you're an audio person like me and you love podcasts, things like that, wherever you listen to them, you'll probably find the Gray Stage podcast there. So, and then we'll get into a couple questions that I have about the podcast going forward that I've been musing here. Let's see. Okay, so that sounds good. Another little clip here. What's this one?
Yep, it's true. Should we wrap it up there then, Greg?
That's all I got for this one, my friend.
Awesome. I look forward to the next one. It gets to, boy, this 2014 gets interesting, of course, of all the different scenarios that happen. So I look forward to the next show. Any other closing comments, Greg?
No, I think that's it. I look forward to it, and thank you, everybody, and thank you, Dan, for always being our host here. We definitely appreciate that, and thank you for everyone who has listened or watched to the Gray Stage podcast. We definitely appreciate all of you, and until next time, God bless.
Thanks.
All right, so I'll probably end it right there. Take all that extra out. Okay, now we have got to find that stuff at the end. See where that is. Okay, so all of this here has to be pulled over to about. Hey Rick, how are you, my friend? I'm doing some live editing here. There's a link in the chat if you want to come on for a few minutes. I don't know how long I'll be here, but I'm just kind of walking through some of the editing process here. So if you have any questions,
there then, Greg.
That's all.
Definitely a good time.
I got for this one, my friend.
Awesome. I look forward to the next one. it gets in. Boy, this 2014 gets interesting, of course, of all the different scenarios that happen.
Ah, I messed up. See, I moved this here when I shouldn't have. But remember, I can always just go back and hit the undo. Undo. Okay, so now I need to figure out exactly where I want this to go. So, and I can just drag everything here. See, that's the thing, is I don't want to drag those. Control, click, control, click, control, click. And now I have all of those that I need here. And I can move them to where, oh, there's another one I missed. Look at that. What's that one? What is that one? Oh, that may be, okay, I know what that is. So we're going to move all these over here. Boom. Let's test that out.
Sister Sidra told Detective Jim Gummert financial struggles.
So this one may need to be extended. So number 2 is just the covering the duck with the Gray Stage Book logo. So I'm going to edit the time on that a little bit. This version, let me check on that, Rick. So Crip Rick is asking about the price of Power Director, which again is an awesome program. Let me just look that up. I think it's, I mean, depending on if you get it on sale, again. So best time to buy is probably going to be right after Thanksgiving. Is probably going to be, well, Canadians don't celebrate Thanksgiving, which is a whole nother issue. But just kidding. But so around the end of November, you may find a really good deal. I believe last year or a couple years ago, that's when I upgraded to this one. So I'm just going to type in Power Director, and I'll look that up for you. It is, and you just need the basic thing, I would say. You don't need, let's see all plans and pricing. Yeah, I see. Oh, it's, and you want the one-time fee. Don't do the monthly fee thing. Just get the one time. The one-time license for Power Director 21 is $99.99 right now. So that's what it's going to cost you if you were to purchase it right now. Now you could do the subscription, get the monthly plan, get the yearly plan. The yearly plan, Rick, if you just want to try it for 1 year, that's $52 right now. That's really good. And then you can see if you even like it. The problem is you may kick yourself later. It's like, wow, I spent $52 and I could have just paid another $40 and I would have had it for a lifetime. So those are the things you have to weigh. No, that's not bad at all. The 99 isn't bad. I think I got it on sale for like 79 or something. It's a reason why I jumped on it, because it was just such a great price there. But so think about that if you're thinking about getting it. $99.99. I wonder if I could put the link in here if anybody does want to look into it. Boom. Oh, look at that. So I'll put the link, the direct link, if anybody wants to check it out. This is where you can see all of the pricing options, Rick, right here. So yeah, good. Yeah, spend the extra $40 and own it. Don't do what I did. I'm a little cheap when it comes to some of that. But yeah, there is the link. I don't expect everyone. Oh, actually, I'm surprised the whole link actually shows up there. So, is that right? Is that right? Okay. Let's see how it is. Yep. Let's see what I got here. Okay, so this is at 25. The duration for this, for the little up in the corner, I'm going to move this to 37 just to be safe. Boom, that should cover everything I need it to cover. Now this, I don't know what this is or why this is even here.
2014, there's
Oh, that's the music. Okay, yeah, definitely need that. Oh boy, fun times. Yeah, Rick, you'll love this program. I can show you it fairly quickly, no
everybody,
problem.
and thank you, Dan, for always being our host here. We definitely appreciate that, and thank you for everyone who has listened or watched to the Gray State Show Law. So obviously,
I
the
don't even know
difference
if I
between
like
Red
all
Dawn
of
is
them.
it's Russians coming out of the sky, coming to
I think
take
I
this
just want it
city
to end
over.
abruptly.
Whereas with this, it's more like, no, these are your local police, your
yeah,
local authorities, the local army that are coming in to take over your city, which is a very scary scenario, I think.
yep, yep, it's true. Should we wrap it up there then, Greg?
That's all I got for this one, my friend.
Awesome. I look forward to the next one. It gets to, boy, this 2014 gets interesting, of course, of all the different scenarios that happen. So I look forward to the next show. Any other closing comments, Greg?
No, I think that's it. I look forward to it, and thank you, everybody, and thank you, Dan, for always
I don't know
right
if I
there.
Yep,
want all that.
yep, it's true. Should we wrap it up there then, Greg?
That's all I got for this one, my friend.
Awesome. I look forward to the next one. It gets to, boy, this 2014 gets interesting, of course,
Yeah, it
of
does.
all the different scenarios that happen. So I look forward to the next show. Any other closing comments? So I look forward to the next show.
I'll probably just end it right there. I think that's a good place to end it. Boom. So this little cursor, this little arrow, down arrow, is going to be your best friend here. This is where you edit. So you move it. If I want to play it, I just move that over here on the timer, right? And then I can play it right there. If I wanted to take out this, I could take out.
That happen.
I could take all of this out right here, all this dead air, dead space, right? In radio, right? You don't want any dead air. So I could take all of that out right there in theory. And I'm going to leave. I'm still going to leave the gap because sometimes it'll move other things I don't want it to move. So I'd rather just move it myself. And I can fade, I can crossfade. See how I'm making it kind of blend in to the next one? So it'll kind of just crossfade. So let's look at if I don't crossfade, right? If I just take this and move it, oops, very sensitive. Let's take this, and if I just move it next to it, let's see what that looks and sounds like.
Happen. So I look forward to the next show.
See, don't even really notice.
So I look forward to the.
So, but if I crossfade it, meaning if I move this part over in, see how it's intruding into the next one. I'm just going to move that over and do a crossfade. And so when I do that, let's see what that looks like.
That happen. So I look forward to the next.
I don't know. I don't really notice a difference.
That happen. So I look forward to the next show.
So I'm going to keep it like that because I like that. But then I need to move this. This one is just going to I think I'm just going to keep that right there. So let's go. Let's try this.
Happen. So I look forward to the next show. Any other closing comments?
Yeah, that's good. They don't even really notice.
For the next show.
Okay, so I look forward to the next show. That's where we're going to end it. So all of this is trash. So we're trashing that. Don't forget to save. And
so I look forward to the next show.
Okay, so I'm going to abruptly. Sometimes you really want to zoom in just to make sure you get it exactly right there, right? So then, boom, because I need to, this is that duck, split the selected clip, boom, done, takes that out, hit the delete, so everything after where I cut it is gone. Always go back and look at it. Okay, so I need to adjust this. Stop that, stop that, stop that. Alright. Now we need to go and really see what this is going to be.
Of all the different scenarios that happen. So I look forward to the next show.
Ends very abruptly, but that's okay because it's kind of what I want. So now, okay, those are lined up. So if I just put my cursor right here, hold hold the cursor down and I can drag everything that I want. And if I miss something, I can always manually do that too. So I'm going to move that right to the end of here. And see how the blue line, it just kind of lines it up for me. So if I get it wrong, it auto-corrects. I love that. Absolutely love that. It just auto-corrects it for me and shows me exactly where I want it. Love it. That's what you're paying the extra money
It's
for.
interesting,
Good
of
stuff.
course, of all the different scenarios that happen. So I look forward to the next show.
It's a little abrupt. That's okay. And we just got to change the 32. We're just recycling the beginning and the end here. So that's what we need to change right there, where it says podcast number 32. We're going to find that text, which is right here. Double click on it. And again, you can change it right inside of here if I wanted to. I change it up here just so no typos. So I know exactly what it's going to look like. And then I can see it on the right hand side. Click OK on that. So that's all I needed to do for that. So now it'll show number 33. Fade right in to where I want it to. This may even, I feel like this should kind of fade in and it doesn't. Kind of want that to fade in just for a smooth. So again, to fade in, fade out, go to Designer, PIP Designer, and we'll click on that right there. I know I want it to fade out, but I want to make sure it's a fade in this time. Right, because that fades out nicely. Then now it should fade in. There we go. That's what's missing in the front one. Let me save that. That's what's missing here. PIP Designer. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, much better. Much better. So save that. So again, the main thing we're doing, this is just all extra stuff. The audio version is done. I've captured everything I need for the audio version. So that looks good. Okay, now what we're gonna do, I think that's all we need to do for this version right now. We'll add all the stuff at the end, no problem. Yeah, okay, so that section is done. Now what I need to do, oh wait, what happened? Add to this one. Okay, now what I need to do is we're going to go to File. We're going to save the project as, because now that we have 32 edit, we want this to be 33 edit. We're not done yet because now we need another one. Save it as 33 final. Okay, because what we're going to do now is we are going to create the audio. This is how I create the audio version, right? Once I have all the audio that I'm happy with in the video version here that you see, we're going to highlight everything. Okay, I'm going to uncheck mark this main, and you have to uncheck mark that, check mark this. So everything on the top I want to uncheck mark. I want to make sure I do all of that. That's very important here. And so as long as everything in track 1 is uncheck marked, then we're good to go. I'm just going to scroll through that, make sure. Can't miss anything or it's going to sound weird. All right, so everything else goes. Everything else must go. So we're going to trash everything else. Okay, then we're going to grab it, and grab everything and move it to the right hand side. Now this is where zooming in and zooming out is going to come in very handy, depending on how much of it that I want to see, right? And I can see right now this episode is going to be about 34 minutes long. The audio without the intro, because I'm going to create an intro just for the podcast version and create an outro just for the podcast version too. So that will be fun. Rick, I still got a few more minutes here. If you want to come on, we can record the intro and the outro for this. You want to do it with me? Act like you're running the show here. Just kidding. Okay, so now we have this. So once this is all done, always save everything you do. When I am completely done here and I'm ready to move this over to Anchor FM to make a podcast version, you go to Produce or Produce, depending on however you want to say it. Go to Produce. This is going to take you to all of the different options. All right, you're going to see all these different options. So whether it's a video format or whether it's audio. So see this one, it says audio file. We're going to switch it to audio file. Now, in Anchor, it has to be under 250 megs or less. So I always try the highest possible. And you got to decide, do you want M4A or WAV, waveform? If anybody knows which one they think is really better, I'm definitely open to hearing it. It seems like the wave gives me more options. PCM is higher, but it's a different format, so I don't know. If anyone has any thoughts, any tips about which is better, M4A or wave, I'm definitely open to it. They're both going to be pretty big files, but not too big. So, and if I want to just test it, I can go over here and hit play just to make sure.
Now we get into 2012.
Yeah, because that's all I need. I just need the audio from this. We're going to turn this video into just an audio format. That's all we're doing here. All right, so now that I have that, I got the wave. I'm going to just click on, I'm going to get a little brave here just to see. And I say podcast 33 audio. All right, once I hit start, too big, way too big. So that's not going to work. Gotta cancel. All right, we'll go 10. Let's see how big that is. That may work. 250. That's it. And that is the process, my friends. Hope this helped. God bless you all. And new podcasts will be up later today on Anchor and wherever you listen to podcasts, to audio podcasts. And the video version will be up soon. Until next time.